once again, Star Wars and unboxing fans. Welcome to another episode of Darth Tuba's Star Wars Unboxing Show. I'm your host, Darth Tuba, and be sure to check out all my videos, other videos, subscribe, like, share, do all that fancy interweb stuff, and share it and get the word out about my program. I would very much appreciate it. So, what do we have today? Well, we're back to the TIE Fighter, or I should say Incredibuilds, TIE Fighter Winged Menace, okay? Which features easy to assemble laser cut wood pieces, step-by-step instructions, coloring, crafting ideas, and a vehicle guide book. We did an R2-D2 a few episodes ago, and I did pick up a few more of these. What's really cool about this, I just want to talk a little bit about the book. I didn't really do that as much on the first one, but this is actually a twofer. You're getting like a little mini model kit, but you're also getting a nice book that kind of goes through the introduction about the TIE Fighters. Okay, there's information about what they look like from each angle. Okay, the TIE Fighter pilots. So there's like an in-universe kind of explanation of everything, and they all have names. Like the cannons have names. Everything has names. They talk about some of the relative versions of it, like the TIE Interceptor, the TIE Bomber, and then it gets into a kind of behind-the-scenes setup where they talk about how the models were kind of first conceptualized. There's some Ralph McQuarrie art that includes it, and they show you some of the ways that they filmed. They kind of diagram out how they filmed the groundbreaking effects for the time. Oh, this is great. It's got some awesome McQuarrie sketches and art. So it's really fantastic. It's a great little piece. It's not too expensive. It's not too big. It's not too bulky. So there's some pretty cool things. Even talks about the, how to make it your own. You can color. Now these all come actually uncolored, but you can actually touch it up with paint or markers. Somebody did like a Rebel, as if they put the Rebel insignia on theirs. Another thing you could do, they give you instructions for like making it like a checkered racing one. So there's pretty cool things. Make one like that, as if R2 could control it. Could have R2 colors. It's really neat. It gives you some cool ideas, and that might spark other ways to do it. So some pretty cool things. So last time I did this, the R2 one took me a little time, so I think it's best to do a high-speed build. So I'll put that on right now, and then we'll take a look at it afterwards. Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're back, and as you can see, it took a little bit of time. Fast build doesn't really give you a good indicator of how long it actually takes. You might have noticed if you're watching it that about a third of the way in, I had to actually backtrack about 15 steps to because I had one little tiny piece kind of reversed. The biggest piece of advice I can give to anybody trying this, first of all, if you're going to do it with children, make sure that if they're patient children, they should be okay. If they're the type of people that lose their patience, you might want to help them. And if you're the type of person to lose your patience, parents, then get help, because you're going to need it. These things can be very frustrating, but one nice thing, the laser cutting makes everything very, very properly to fit. And I mentioned this in a previous video, when we do old snap together models, which is the only real level of model making I was good at. But even then I was not that good. And it was frustrating because sometimes the pieces just didn't quite fit right. Here, every piece, as long as the wood is cut and not splintered or anything, every piece of piecing fits together with each other without any issue. All right, so as you can see, we've got the TIE Fighter, comes with a little stand, okay? It's pretty nice build, pretty nice unique style. It wasn't too hard. I think in comparison to the R2 one I did a while ago, this one was a little bit easier. Most pieces just had no issue whatsoever. The only one that was a little weird on this one is, it's hard to make out, but the gunning system underneath, there were these very itsy bitsy tiny pieces of wood. And this is basically like balsa wood, but it's laser cut balsa wood. So that little tiny piece just kind of shoves up into kind of a tongue and groove kind of setup. And I don't know, right now I don't know what's keeping it in there except just, you know, the friction of the wood, because it, you know, gravity. Well, probably one of these days I'll look at it on a display and see that the gun fell off. But still, between that and, you know, the book about the TIE fighters, what you're paying for it, it's a really great thing. It's a great afternoon activity. As I said, if you do intend to paint yours, I strongly recommend, and I do believe they do so in the book as well, to paint the pieces first. But be aware, when you're painting the pieces, okay, just be aware that the grid that all the pieces come cut out from, all the numbers are on the grid. Okay, so one of the biggest things they say on the instructions is do not pull out all the pieces first. Only push out the pieces that you need for that particular exercise. Those of you who've done Lego, it's the same idea. You just pick piece by piece and build set by set until it's all together. Don't take all the pieces out first, because the numbering system is on the die cut, you know, kind of frame. And if you take the pieces off, you're not going to know exactly what they are. And yeah, you can look at the pictures, but sometimes those pictures aren't giving you all the information. There are pieces that looked very similar, almost exact, but they weren't exact. They were slightly different. So just keep that in mind. Okay? So I have a few more of these that I'll probably do in a later date. I really enjoy them. I'm waiting. I actually pre-ordered one for a Death Star, which I'm very curious on how that one's going to go. We still have a Millennium Falcon and an X-Wing fighter to do, so we'll get to those at a later date. And until that time, thank you for watching. Subscribe to my channel, like, share, pass it along, pass the word on. Darth Tuba's Star Wars unboxing page on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram. And may the Force be with you.